These words we speak are not to trigger anyone, but provoke the thoughts of those with open minds that are not easily offended by curse words you may hear or content discussed to raise awareness on various issues. If you are easily offended and not open to the thoughts of others, this video may not be for you. So please watch at your own discretion. Thank you. And this video is for entertainment purposes only.
For the dream, reaching for the sky in the view, street news on the uprise. It's my town, your town, uptown, downtown, around town. With Sharonda has a new day. Around town with Sharonda. It's a new day. It's a new day.
What's up, people? You're around town with Sharonda, and I'm your host, Sharonda, the laid-back one. So to all you laid-backers that tuned in, thank you for watching. And today we have a special guest, Mr. Deedric Ogun, the Notorious Deedric Ogun. Welcome, Deedric. Nice to have you.
Thank you, Sister Sharonda. I'm glad to be here.
Now, I personally see you as a truth seeker and a truth speaker, and a person that seeks true knowledge. But before we get too deep into that, tell us where you're originally from.
Okay, I'm originally from Greensboro, North Carolina, born and raised. I'm from the east side, McCondale Road, Dunbar Street area. I attended Page High School, Walter Hines Page to be exact.
Page Pirates.
Yep, graduate 1994 class.
Okay.
I'm pretty much been a, just, more of a homebody. I'm well known in the city. A lot of people know me. A lot of people either know me from school, from my neighborhood, or either they know me from a previous job that I had. But I'm just the type of guy, like, I just think my purpose is here to just teach the people and teach my people the right type of education, because we've been misled, we've been misinformed, we've been brainwashed, we've been trained ever since we was born. We was born in the lies, and the truth needs to be known for our people to get out of this hole that we're
in. Now, you are married and you do have kids, so shout out to your beautiful wife. And as far as the education, do you feel like it was worth us being in school for 12 years just to get a job, but then have to go to school for 4 more years to have a career, as what they, tell us?
Now, here's the problem with the education. It's a difference. You have education and you have training. What we went through from elementary school to high school, that was training. We were never educated. When you're properly educated, you learn your true history. You learn your identity. You learn about your culture. You pretty much learn family values. You learn financing, you learn about law, you learn about parenting, and things of that nature. That's real education. But what happened to us, we have been trained into thinking through another people's lens. We take another people's identity, and that was the start. Whenever you're trying to dominate a people, the first thing you have to do is indoctrinate your system into them. Strip everything away from them and just give them everything about you. And so what we went through the education system, which the state runs the education system, and the state is a branch from the slavery system. So it's just modern day slavery. That's all it is.
Do you think we as a people have failed ourselves and just blaming somebody else?
Yeah, in a way, we really can't look at it blaming ourselves. We really were victims of our condition, because we got to remember this too. The women in the family are the foundation of the family. The women are the ones that plant the seed in most of the people in the family. So when a woman is misinformed, miseducated, and she's been indoctrinated, she's going to pass it to her children, and then her children are going to pass it to their children, and the cycle just keeps going on and on and on, because most black women, their ideal man is the pastor of the church. Now,
That's taught though.
yes, it's
That's
taught.
taught.
It's definitely taught. And I'm not saying all pastors are bad. We have some good pastors out here that's really trying to do the right thing, but it's a lot of pastors that know what they're doing, and it's a form of psychology which controls the mind. So if you control the woman, you pretty much can just control the whole family, because nobody wants to disappoint grandma. You don't want to disappoint mama, and everybody looks at mama and grandma with love, and we're never thinking that they would tell us nothing wrong. And it wasn't done on purpose, because they were indoctrinated too. So they were just giving to us what was given to them.
Yeah, but when they have a chance to be re-educated and see things from a different perspective, they choose not to. You know, it's like they stuck in psychosis, and then they feel offended when you might have thought of something or learned something and you share it with them. Then they think that you are being disrespectful, when you're not. You're just asking questions. You're just trying to get the proper education. And a lot of times they don't want you to have the proper. They want you to stick with outdated traditions that no longer work for the black family. You know, and I feel like, personally, I feel like if the women are out of line, that's going to throw the men out of line, which is going to throw the family off the line, which contributes to black people having a lot of broken homes. And not only black people, but we have suffered the most on this earth since I have, you know, been living on this earth. So as a man, what do you feel like we could do better as a race to get ourselves back on track and get our families, you know, back together and get us properly educated and back down the religious path that we need to be on?
Well, first of all, we have to remember that only a few are chosen. Everybody's not built for this. You know, a lot of people, they're comfortable with what they believe in. They're comfortable with what they've been taught, and they're just satisfied where they're at. And most people like me and yourself, we knew it was something in us that was like, it's more to this than what we've been told. And a lot of people do not want to get out of their comfort zone, and a lot of it got to do with fear of being judged. Because when you talk against the family tradition, that's when the attacks come. You know, your uncles, your aunts, your sister, brothers, everybody coming at you. Oh, he's going crazy. She losing her mind. What's going on? You know, you start hearing all these, you know, comments about you. And a lot of people are a prison of their own mind because they don't want to be judged by their family members. Their family members are the reason why they're trapped in the cage and feel like they can't get out. Because I know for a fact it's people out here that want to know the truth. Because I have a lot of followers on my social media. And it's a lot of them want to know, but they don't want to be judged by their family members. And as long as you're scared of being judged by your family members, you're always going to be a slave. And you have to get out of that in order to go to the next level. But everybody's not called for this. It's not built for everybody. So when it comes to the black community, it's like it's real thin, because you might have 0.1% of people who really want to know the truth, and they don't give a damn about how their family feel. And then 90% of people, they're scared about what their family gonna say about them, and that's why they don't get no further than where they at.
Because it's a difference from being a slave, like, because people seem to think we are free, but we are not free, because you have to do work, you know, every day. But the biggest thing that keeps us where we are now is because a lot of us are enslaved in the mind.
Absolutely.
And in order for us to grow further, elevate, and get to where we need to be, we have to free our minds. And even when you're in a state to free your mind, you do have those family members that come right behind you and try to keep you stuck and stagnant, and keep you in that same place where for your calling, that's not where you need to be. And
Yes.
as far as judging, there are the Christians. They do judge the most.
Yes. Absolutely.
Out of every other
Absolutely.
religion that I have affiliated with
Absolutely.
and spoken to and learned from. And they are harsh on their judgment
Yes.
because you teach one thing when you're young. When people are young, you're taught one thing. But then as you start growing, becoming a teenager, becoming an adolescent, becoming a young adult, then it's time for you to live your life. Everything that you learn, they have a problem with you living your life, but these are the things that they taught you. A wife and a husband is supposed to submit to each other, but you can't submit to each other because you don't have the privacy that you need to submit to each other, because they're always finding something wrong when you're stepping into your own path. You're supposed to leave the nest, and you're able to leave the nest, but they don't let you leave that mind state.
Right.
If
Right.
So how can you elaborate on that?
Well, people gotta remember this: the mind is all. The mind is everything. That's one of the universal laws. Is the mental, and the mind is everything. Everything started with the mind. Everything creation that you see around you, it was started from the mind. This camera that we're recording on was started from somebody's mind. The car we drive was started from somebody's mind. Everything in existence came from the mind. That's why the mind is all. The mind is everything. The perception of God that was told to us came from somebody's mind. Okay, so we have to think about that, because the mind is the most powerless thing in the universe, and mental slavery is 10 times worse than physical slavery. Because if you're physically enslaved, you can get away. But when you're mentally enslaved, you're trapped. Because once somebody gets you in your mind, they're not worrying about you going anywhere. And that's why a lot of people are in this hypnosis, because it's the mind, it's programming. A lot of Christians, I've noticed, they're real arrogant. A lot of black Christians especially, they're real arrogant. They say stuff like, I'm blessed and highly favored, I'm God's child, no weapon formed against me shall prosper, won't he do it, things like this. This is stuff that was programmed into us. We heard grandma say that, we heard our Aunt Eloise say that, then we get older and we start saying the same thing that they were saying. But a lot of this stuff, that we say, it's from what somebody else told us. The same thing is perpetuated over and over again. But once your mind is enslaved, you're basically going to be a slave the rest of your life. And so that's why they went from physical slavery to mental slavery, because mental slavery is more profitable, way more profitable. Mental slavery is like 10 times worse than physical. And that's why a lot of Christians have that type of mindset.
Now, I grew up in a Pentecostal environment, which, I enjoyed going to church. I loved the fellowship. Never had no, real issues until it was time for me to start living my life. And that's where I ran into a lot of, you rebellious. I'm growing up. I'm becoming my own woman. I'm getting ready to step out here in the real world. So it's not about being rebellious. It's not about stepping away from this, that, and the third. Sometimes when we come here, you were taught that God had a plan for you before you even came here. But then when it's time for you to step down your path, you got all these people that taught you that won't let you do what you're called to do.
Right.
And they discredit everything about you to keep you stuck so you can be controlled.
Yes.
And then that's one thing that I really had a problem with, because as we get older, they get older. But if we don't have the tools to sustain our own selves, how can we have the tools to maintain them when we have to look out for them? You know?
Yeah. And I want to say something about that too. Like, when I first came into this consciousness thing, I started back in around 2010, and I used to debate and argue with family and friends and go back and forth and all that. But once you come into conscious and realize you cannot debate and argue with family members and friends about the stuff that we know, because when I go around my relatives, and I love my family, I love everybody in my family, but I don't talk about this stuff with them. It's probably 2 people in my family that I can think of that really want to know who I can really like talk about this to, because when you go to your family member's house and try to talk about this shit, they will jump on your ass, and it will be an all-out war. So the best thing to do, like, it's like you have to dumb yourself down to enjoy yourself around certain family members, because you know that the stuff that they don't know, you know, it's going to make them feel uncomfortable. So it's best to not even talk about it to people, especially your family members. You don't want to talk to them about things like this, because it's going to turn into a whole mess, and they're going to jump on you, and you're not going to get nowhere. So the best way to handle that, just talk to the ones that's on the same frequency that you are.
But you see, a lot of times you don't be trying to talk about that stuff to you, and then, you know, like you know, you've been walking around and you might have somebody walk up to you and say, well, hey young man, how long you been saved? And you're like, I never said that, you know, I would say, and they just open up a conversation not knowing you. Let me say, how can I say this? Because a lot of times we always respect them and their beliefs.
Absolutely.
And how they do.
Absolutely.
But when you have an opinion or you going down a different road, they never want to respect
Absolutely.
you. And it's okay to agree to disagree,
Right.
because we've all paid our dues to become adults.
Right.
We have all paid our dues to become the heads of our own families.
Right.
And it's not fair for you to be taken out of the family that you've given birth to or that you fathered, because the elders in your family don't agree with you starting your own life and starting your own family traditions.
Yes.
And having your own beliefs and,
Yes.
you know, doing, you know, I mean, it is a big mess. And me personally, I don't think God, the true natural God, is the author of confusion.
Absolutely.
You know, I just don't believe that. And I think you can't tell me that we was born into a world of sin and then God died for our sins, but everything I do in life, you find a problem with it because I'm not doing what you want me to do. You know, and that's where a lot of adults today run into issues. And because, you know, I mean, and I'm going to just be honest with you, a lot of us around our age group, a lot of us haven't even been married one time. And then when you are married, your marriages don't last because they don't encourage you to stay together. But you're always taught, to death do you part, to this, that. But as soon as you marry somebody that they can't control, they have a problem with it. But you're supposed to follow your husband. You know, you're supposed to cleave to your wife. But how can you?
Right. Right. See, that's how dangerous religion is, because it's like, if you say for instance, you know, you meet your husband's family, and you know the husband family don't know that you're not religious. They don't know that you're not a Christian. You're not religious, and you meet them, and you know they see how respectful you are, and they see how much of a good person you are. But as soon as they find out that you're not a Christian or don't believe in Christian values, that's when all the bullshit comes into play. They're not going to look at you the same. They're going to be telling him, oh, where you find this girl at? I can't believe you with a girl who don't believe in God and this and that. And it don't have nothing to do with not believing in God. The whole thing is, I don't believe what you believe. I believe in facts. I believe in real history. What you believe is passed down information. You believe in fairy tales and something that was given to you in a book. But I believe in real history. I want to know the origin of this stuff that you call Christianity. I'm about the origin, where it started, in the history. And a lot of black people, they don't want to know nothing about history. If it ain't about if it's not in the Bible, they don't want to hear about it. But that's how dangerous religion is, because once the family find out that you're not a Christian, or you don't believe in Jesus and stuff like that, they're gonna turn against you immediately.
But God, in my opinion, I feel like God is real. Your ancestors is real. The universe. I mean, I believe all that stuff is real, and I do believe, in a higher power. But I don't believe in taking on a religion to be controlled. I don't believe on taking on a religion to have to answer to somebody else when I'm supposed to be up under my husband. I mean, if that makes sense.
Yes, absolutely.
If that, and I love the fellowship, and I don't have anything against Christians. I don't have anything against the religion. But what I do have a problem with is people not being able to be their higher authentic selves due to being judged for getting into your natural calling, when a lot of these people have actually called themselves, and you can tell they called themselves because if God had called them, it wouldn't be a problem for them to let other people flourish in the areas that they need to flourish in, and they can offer that support and give them that support and back them on their own personal journeys instead of keeping you in a bucket.
Yes, absolutely. And see, I was raised in the church. I know that's why I don't judge anybody who is in the Christian thing or go to church, because I used to be there. My grandmother raised me since I was 6 years old, and she made us go to church every Sunday. If I didn't go to church, I couldn't go outside. She made us go to Sunday school. She made us go to Bible study. She made us usher. I was doing all that stuff in the church. So I grew up in the church. Matter of fact, I went to Trinity AME Mount Zion off of East Florida Street. And, that's our family church. And, I grew up in the church. I used to go there every Sunday. But, like I said, it was something about the church that didn't move me. It never did nothing to me. And I used to just sit in church, for hours. And, it just never did nothing for me. And something in me said, Deedric, there's more to this story than what you're being told. It's like I had an ancestor in me that was telling me, hey man, this is more to this story. But religion is about control. It's about control and fear. Because without fear, the religion can't control you. And that's why they came up with the hell story. The hell story, burning forever. That scares motherfuckers. The motherfuckers they want to be comfortable that they're not gonna burn forever, but not knowing once you leave this body, you're not in the flesh no more. So a spirit can't burn in fire because you're not in the flesh no more. So you're not gonna burn in no eternal. The Catholic Church made up the hell story, and that was strictly for control and profit. It's all about fear and control. All religions are based on fear and control. All of them. Not just Christianity.
Woo, okay. I mean, but because we, I know. I know. But, oh my God.
Fear is stronger than love. I'm trying to tell you, because with the religion, it's like people don't understand the Vatican Church, the Vatican, which is in Italy. They are the master of all religions. They control Christianity, they control Islam, they control Judaism. The Catholic Church is control of all religions. So all your religious systems are being given to you by the same people. By the same people. Just like how the nun wears the white hat around their head, the Muslim women wears it around their face. It's the same thing. It's all of them have all of it is the same God. They just telling you from a different concept and a different religion.
Well, they tell you that the books of the Bible are allegory stories.
Absolutely.
But a lot of people don't know what allegory is.
Right. Right.
And a lot of people are not going to explain to you what allegory is.
Right.
And just like you say, all the religions have the same story, but the names just been changed.
Absolutely.
You know. And I just never understood if every religion had the same story, the same characters, and why we couldn't get along. Why does one religion feel like their religion is better than the other, and then if you are not of this religion, then you do this, and if you ain't it's
division. When people are divided, you can control them more. You control people that's divided. When people are united, you can't control them because everybody's on the same page. But once you bring it, see, religion is about division also, because if you got one person that's Islam, and, their God is Muhammad or Allah, and when you go to Christianity, their God is Jesus. Then you go to Judaism, their God is David or whatnot. So you have all these religions with different beliefs, but it's the same concept, and it just causes division. Because if I'm a Christian and I go into a Muslim house, they're gonna have a whole different outlook on me. They might throw me out the damn house.
Oh my God!
And if I go to a Christian house and start telling them about Allah, they probably gonna throw me out the damn house.
Oh God!
That's just what religion does. It causes division. It's always been like that. And the people who created the religions knew this. That's why they did it. It's all about division when it comes to religion, just like politics. Democrat, Republican. That's division. And the same people control both parties. The same people who you see on TV, you'll see Donald Trump having a debate with Joe Biden. But behind closed doors, they golfing buddies. They having dinner together. But they don't got it on TV like Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan, pretending like they can't stand each other. And the people fall for it. Every 4 years, people fall for it. And it's division. Division is what keeps the people that you'll never see, the people who's controlling everything, you will never see their face. But the division keeps them in power. That's just how it is.
Do you think this would ever get better amongst society?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I would hope so. But more people are waking up, though. More people are waking up to the BS. More people are waking up.
You said BS?
Yeah, because I'm trying not to cuss too much. But more people are waking up to the BS that I've noticed lately. But this been going on for generations, Rhonda, and I don't see how people getting out of this no time. I mean, we've been marching and holding up picket signs since the 1950s, and we still doing it. It's 2025. So just think, we've been marching and picking since our uncles and aunts and mamas been little, and we still doing it to this day. Holding up pick, we still marching to the voting polls, voting every 4 years, not knowing that, well, the electoral college is the one who chooses the president. Popular votes have never chosen the president. Never in history has popular vote chosen the president. Presidents are already chosen before they give them to you. And a lot of people just don't get that part either. Just like they don't get that America is a business. It's a corporation. It's not a country. America hasn't been a country since 1871. So that's why you have a president and a vice president, because it's a corporation. It's like a job where you work at.
Wow. So do you think that, because, like you say, this has been going on for decades,
Yes.
even way before, you know, we were born. And
Yes.
we came in right when they was fighting for
Yes.
segregation,
Mhm.
you know, or whatever the case may be.
Mhm.
And I think that that's when we lost who we were
Mhm.
as a people.
Integration.
You know, integration. We lost our culture,
Mhm.
everything about us, and it's hard for us to get it back because we're not on the same page.
Yes. Absolutely.
It's hard to get us on the same page.
Mhm.
And then every time you can be 3 to 6 people, they're splitting you up. Still today,
Mhm.
they split you up. They think you're talking about something or coming up with a plan to help yourselves.
Mhm.
You know, they split you up, or you got somebody in that crowd that's gonna go back and tell somebody what you're working on, and then for it to be sabotaged.
Mhm.
But I just think that it's sad that religion can be a good thing if it was taught properly with truth, and it wasn't used to really like totally control one's mind, you know, one's thoughts. But you know, I just feel like it's not a bad thing because I grew up in religion. I have nothing against religion, but there were just things that I didn't understand.
Yeah.
And so now that, you know, my Aunt Liz is not here to answer my questions anymore, you know, I just don't have nobody. If I think of something, I can't go to Aunt Liz and say, well, Aunt Liz, this is what I thought about. Can you explain? And I trusted her because she was a minister, but she was a fair minister. And she taught truth. You know, and she didn't sugarcoat. When it came to me, she didn't sugarcoat anything from me. And she told me just like it was. And she told me in a way that I could receive it. And she told me that there were going to be some things that, you know, I was going to have to do differently. You know, and now I'm to that point where I understand. I understand everything that she ever taught me.
Yes.
And I'm grateful for that. And I would never turn my back on religion, which is where I came from. But there are some things that I know better.
Right. Absolutely.
And there are some things that I do want for better for myself, and I want for my family. And I want my children to be able to raise their children the way that they want to raise their children. And, you know, start their own family traditions and have their own belief system.
Yeah. And you know, add to that note,
without being ridiculed,
yes,
or called the devil,
yes,
or called satanic,
yes,
or called all those names just because to them it seems like you're guiding off.
Yes.
But you're not guiding off.
Right.
You're not willing to be stuck.
Right.
With no growth in life. You have to grow.
Right.
And anything is not growing is dying.
Right.
And I'm not willing to die because people want me to stay stuck in a belief with them that have no growth.
Right. You know, to add to that note, like I have a few brothers and sisters, you know, that I grew up with. You know, they're Christians in the religion, and they are good people, good-hearted people. They get your shirt off their back. I got a lot of homeboys that's still in religion, and I will never turn my back on them.
Right.
I don't judge them. I don't talk down on them. Like I don't come at them, tell them about stuff that I know. You know, to make it seem like I'm arrogant because I'm humble.
Right.
So I don't come to them and try to bash them because they in the church or Christian. Because like I said, some of my closest homeboys are in the Christian religion. And I love them the same no matter what. Because I look at them as my brother and sister first before the religion. You know, I have another real close friend of mine, Edward Kirkpatrick. We grew up together, and he's a real well-known pastor. Good brother. I love him to death. You know, and he's always been a Christian since we were teenagers. But he never, you know, bashed us in the head with that stuff. Right. You know, he's a regular dude just like me and you. I got another brother named Raphael Daly. They call him Skloot. He does a lot of stuff for the community, and he has like an outreach program, and he really does a lot for the community, especially for the younger brothers. And I love that dude. Like he is my brother. I go to war for him. If he called me right now, I'd be there for him. You know what I'm saying? But I look at them as my brother first, outside the religion. You know, there's no religious thing, but they are my brother first.
Now, see, and that's the one thing, because I don't see a lot of, I don't see a lot of Christians in the community, witnessing and things of that nature. And I just don't see it with my eyes. But one thing I can honestly say, when it came to the Jehovah's Witness, now I see them out in the communities doing their work. I think it's the Mormons. I see them out in the communities, doing work or whatever the case. And I can actually have conversations with them. Like the Jehovah's Witness ladies, they used to come to my house, and when you're young, you talk, run away from them, shut the door, close your mind, do all that. But this time, I actually took the time to talk, and we actually became friends. So now, when we get together, we don't even talk about. They don't talk about their religion. I don't talk about my religion. We respect one another, and we can actually have a decent conversation and enjoy each other's company.
Yeah.
And I think that love is supposed to conquer all. I don't see how you can have so much hate in your heart and then want to be destructive to another person.
Yes.
And then call that person a devil, and call that person, all these names, when you are actually claiming a title.
Yes.
See, it's a lot of us don't claim titles, but we believe in God and we trust God, and we don't live in fear.
Right.
Because our faith,
right,
overpowers the fear.
Right. Right. That's what I was saying. It's all about fear. It's like Christ. The word Christ is a title. It's not a name. So when you say Jesus Christ, they're really trying to say Jesus was the anointed, because Christ means the anointed, and a lot of our ancestors were Christ back in ancient times. But Christ is a title, and we've been taught that it's a name. It's like when you look into the Bible, when you look at Jesus and Moses and Abraham, you're supposed to put your name there, because the Bible is about you. Those names are just allegories, like you touched earlier. They're just allegories and metaphors to describe a story. So you're supposed to put Sharonda's name where it says Jacob, or where it says Abraham. That's you they're talking about. They're just using the name, because none of those people in the Bible historically existed. None of those people existed. It's a story. That's what the Bible is. It's a story. But it's a lot of Jews in that book too. It's a lot of Jews in the Bible that you can be taking that can really help you out. But there's a lot of fucked up shit in the Bible too.
Oh my God.
That they don't talk about. That, most pastors gonna overlook that part. No, it's slavery in the Bible. Yeah. It's adultery in the Bible.
It is.
You know what I'm saying? It's, marrying underage kids. All that stuff is in the Bible. And they're not gonna talk about those scriptures. You're only told the good scriptures, not the bad ones. So if you want to go preach in the Bible, you got to tell the whole story, not just the good stories. Tell us the bad stories too.
Well, it is scriptures in there that says that the slave masters, I can't think of what scripture it is right now, but they can beat them long as they didn't kill them, and then if something about setting them free, but that's deep, that's for part 2, whatever the case may be. But and a lot of people that go so hard for the Bible and go so hard for their religion and stuff, they don't even know. They try to tell you the story, the allegory story of Adam and Eve, but a lot of them don't even know that Adam had a wife before Eve.
Yes,
Lilith.
Yeah,
and they never talk about Lilith. They overlook it in the main scripture that all people know, even babies know, Malachi 3:10, if a man have robbed God or whatever, and then you're supposed to pay your tithes and offerings and all that type of stuff. But I just believe that it's more. So I just believe in love, and I just feel like that my God is more of love. It's not about money. Right. It's not about materialistic things. It's just about lending a helping hand, when you can. And it's not about going out here getting in debt, begging your congregation for money for the building funds and stuff like that. Yeah. Because I personally never understood why churches didn't have their own schools. You know, I never understood why churches didn't have places for the homeless to come to church and take a bath and have little areas set up for the homeless that, you know, did get food stamps so they can come and fix themselves a hot meal. I mean, I just didn't know.
Well, that's because the state controls the church. The state, you have to get a 501c3 permit from the state to run a church. So that's why a lot of churches, you know, don't do these things that you just talked about. Because, like, they're not allowed to talk about certain subjects during church service. Because they have guidelines that got to go by. You know, you may have a few pastors that do talk about what's really going on. But the main ones, like the mainstream preachers, they're not going to talk about, you know, stuff like that's really going on. You know, but the state controls the church and it's tax-free money. So every Sunday, these churches are getting tax-free money. But you got to report to the state. But the state controls the church.
Well, I know I like to listen to Ray Hagan a lot.
Yeah, I love Dr. Ray Hagan.
And I know you post a lot about Bobby Hemmett.
Yes, Bobby Hemmett, that's my boy. He changed me a lot.
And I listen to, I know you probably going to laugh when I say this, but I just like, I'm entertained by him, and I just like how he tells it like it is. But the cussing pastor, you know who the cussing?
Yeah, I remember him.
Now, he is funny.
Yeah.
He's real.
Yeah.
And he tells it just like it is.
Yeah, he does.
You know,
he
and
does.
I mean, and this, sometimes it be very harsh.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? But he keeps it. He can win those over.
Yes.
That over here we have become so high and mighty till, you know, you can't reach everybody because these people are not good enough for you to talk to anymore. They're not good enough for you to witness to because you have judged them so harshly till you don't see the good in them. You know what I mean? Because you don't want to see things maybe from their perspective sometimes.
Yeah.
And it can be a lot. It can be a lot. It can be one-sided when you're not claiming a title or you're not going out here and saying, "Oh, I'm saved, I'm sanctified, I'm filled with the Holy Ghost."
Yeah.
I think your life, the life that you live, shows that.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, and I think you should, and not saying that everybody's perfect because there's no person on this earth without sin.
Yes.
No person.
Yes.
Now people get saved and forget where they come from. And I think, you know, things are done age appropriate. You know, you can't get mad for a 20-year-old for wanting to be a 20-year-old.
Right.
When you want them to be 65, and that's because you've already been 20, you've already partied, you've already drank, smoked, did all that stuff that you wanted to do. Now you saved, you found God, and now you want to keep, you condemn other people.
I see that all the time.
For doing the same.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's amazing how, and I'm just going to keep it real, when the families are having cookouts and gatherings and things of that nature, and, you know, people are still partying, everybody gets along fine. It's no issues. Yeah. But the issues come to place when some start getting saved.
Yeah. Then
they want to save everybody else.
Yeah.
And when they can't save everybody else, they shun you like you no longer you not, you know, not with the end. You know what I'm saying? For lack of better words, I really can't explain it.
Yeah.
But you're that same person.
Yeah.
You know, you are that same person. They still, just because you stop drinking and stop smoking, don't make you so much different. Because you still talk about people. You still hurt people. You still judge people. You still get over on people. You know, I mean, it's a lot about that word abomination. But because people get saved and get those titles, they feel like it doesn't pertain to them because they're secure in their cliques. And you're the outsider because you're not claiming salvation. But you believe in God. This is more than they do sometimes. Because, you know, you might be labeled as the sinner, but, you know, you personally know where your God has brought you from. And how your God has kept you afloat. If it makes, you know, it makes sense.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense because the worst hypocrites are in the church. The worst people are in the church. They using the church as a mask, as a cover up, because they don't want the people they don't want the people to see the real person or who they really are. So they use the church as a mask. And I know it's a lot of people in church, they're worse than people out here in the street. You know, you got people out here in the street that treat you better than somebody that's in church. Well, a lot of churches is it's a mask, it's something they do to make them feel good about themselves. You know, they feel like if they went to church, they're going to get closer to heaven, or they did a good deed, so they ain't got to do nothing else good because they went to church. But the church, most people in church is just a cover up and a mask, so you can't see the person who they really are.
Well, church is really a cult as well.
Yeah, yeah, in a way.
And if you look it up, it will tell you that. So it's not like I'm saying something wrong, but I probably get ridiculed for it. But it's, it's in the book.
Yeah, because church, your body is the church. Mm-hmm. You know, the church is the temple. Your body is the temple. The woman's temple is the church. She is the church. You know, and even in the Bible it says God doesn't dwell in temples made by man's hand. You know, it's a verse in the Bible that tells you that. It's like it's Acts 7:38 or something like that. Mm-hmm. And you know, it says God doesn't dwell in temples made by hand. Mm-hmm. So it's like they overlook that, and you know they still go to church anyway. But church is a profitable organization. You know, the Catholic Church per se is one of the richest organizations in the world. And it's all about profit at the end of the day. That's what it is. It's all about profit.
Okay, people. We're going to wrap up this. This is part 1 of the interview with the Notorious Deedric Ogun. But stay tuned for part 2. Thank you.